back. I just want them to come back. And if they're not safe right now, that's what's tearing me apart. Because if they are safe, they're coming back. But if they're not, this has got to stop. Like, somebody has to come forward. Shanann, Bella, Celeste, if you're out there, just come back. Like, if somebody has her, just please bring her back. I need to see everybody. I need to see everybody again. This house is not complete without anybody here. Please bring her back.
He says he wants them home. His wife, his daughters. He says he misses them. He says he doesn't know where they are, but he does. He knows exactly where they are. And that is what makes this moment unbearable. This isn't just a man pleading. It's a man performing grief while standing on top of a secret. There are crimes of rage. There are crimes of impulse. And then there are crimes committed in silence. Tonight, we're not just examining what happened. We're examining how someone can look calm after doing the unimaginable. There was the image, a quiet Colorado neighborhood. Two daughters, a pregnant wife. Shanann Watts built her life publicly. Through social media, viewers saw morning routines, product promotions, laughter in the kitchen, pregnancy, excitement. Bella Watts, quiet and observant. Celeste Watts, energetic and expressive. To outsiders, Chris appeared supportive, attentive, gentle. But image curation creates pressure. Financial strain was mounting. Mortgage burden, credit card debt, prior bankruptcy, HOA disputes. Stress rarely announces itself loudly. Sometimes it settles into silence. Friends later described Chris as increasingly withdrawn, less engaged, more distant, a man who avoided confrontation. Avoidance is not violence, but prolonged avoidance can distort decision-making. And when emotional separation combines with financial strain, a fracture forms. The question is not whether there were problems. The question is how those problems became fatal. By mid-2018, Chris begins a relationship with Nickel Kessinger. What stands out in message records later revealed is intensity, rapid attachment, future planning, vacation searches, apartment browsing. He researches wedding dresses online. He looks up the cost of separation. Two narratives develop. At home, obligation, debt, emotional tension. Outside, admiration, freedom, reinvention. Psychologists describe this as cognitive compartmentalization. Two identities operating independently. But compartments leak. Shanann senses emotional withdrawal. Text messages between them grow strained. She writes about feeling rejected. He responds without warmth. In these exchanges, no violence appears. Instead, something more unsettling. Emotional erasure. He begins psychologically detaching before any physical act occurs. And that detachment is critical to understanding what follows, because annihilation rarely begins with rage. It often begins with dehumanization. On August 13th, collision became irreversible. In the early morning hours, after she returned from a business trip, an argument occurred inside their bedroom. According to his later confession, he strangled her. No forced entry, no outside suspect. Just silence inside the house. But that was not the end of the night. Instead of panic, he began planning. This is where compartmentalization becomes critical. Emotion shut down. Task-focused cognition activated. He wrapped her body, placed it in his truck, and then he loaded his daughters into the vehicle. He drove approximately 45 minutes to an oil site where he worked. 45 minutes. Time. Time to reconsider. Time to turn around. But he continued. At the site, he killed his daughters, then concealed the bodies separately. his wife in a shallow grave, his daughters inside oil tanks. This was not chaos. It was emotional disconnection functioning fully. One of his daughters once told him, "Daddy, you're my hero." Hero. Children do not hesitate when they say that. They trust absolutely. And that trust is what makes this case unbearable. Because hero and harm cannot coexist. Yet they did. Hours later, he texted coworkers, contacted the school, gave interviews. The transition from irreversible violence to public appeal within hours. That is suppression. The mind muting empathy to survive itself. So who was Chris Watts? A man who snapped, or a man who slowly disappeared? Long before that night? Psychological analysis. Chris exhibits traits often associated with covert narcissism. Not grandiose, not loud, but internally focused on control, image, and avoidance. He didn't rage. He erased. Watch his body language, leaning forward, as if trying to align himself with investigators, hands crossing, a subconscious barrier. Minimal emotional expression, even when discussing loss. This isn't panic, it's detachment. And when confronted, he didn't break immediately. He adjusted, adapted, redirected. Because for Chris, the goal wasn't truth. It was containment. Which brings us back to the question, the one that lingers longer than the crime itself. Why didn't he just leave? Because leaving would mean failure, exposure, judgment. But control, even in its darkest form, allowed him to rewrite the narrative. Permanently. When the polygraph examiner told him, "You did not pass," the mask shifted. He first offered partial blame, minimization, narrative preservation, then the full admission. He admitted killing his wife. Later, in prison interviews, he admitted killing his daughters at the oil site, even recounting it. His tone remained flat, effective flattening, emotion present, expression absent. In November 2018, he pleaded guilty. Multiple life sentences without parole. No trial. Shanann's family spoke.
They were taken by a heartless one. This is the heartless one, the evil monster, who dare you take the lives of my daughters Shannon, Bella, Celeste, and Nico. I trusted you to take care of them, not kill them. And they also trusted you. The heartless monster, and then you take them out like trash. You disgust me.
I have no idea who gave you the right to take their lives. But I know God and His mighty angels were there at that moment to bring them home to paradise.
This should never have happened. This is not condonable. This is something that we will never get over.
Her father described the daughter who was building a future. Birthdays erased. Grandchildren never growing up. There was no screaming in the courtroom. Just controlled grief. And that restraint carried weight. He sat still. No collapse. No visible emotional break. Just permanence. He stood there asking for their safe return, but he had already driven them to their final location. His wife was planning tomorrow. His daughter called him her hero, and within hours, he performed normalcy. We expect danger to look dangerous, but sometimes it looks calm, polite, ordinary, and that is what makes this case unforgettable. If you want more deep psychological breakdowns like this, subscribe to Mind After Dark, because sometimes the most dangerous minds are the quietest ones.